Look, we need to talk about that gross morning routine you've been dealing with. You wake up, pull back the curtains, and your windows are crying. I mean, literally weeping like they just watched a sad movie. There are puddles on your windowsill, the paint is peeling, and if you look closely at the corners of your room, yep, there it is. That fuzzy black mold creeping up the wall like something out of a zombie apocalypse. It's disgusting, it smells terrible, and it's quietly ruining your room. Now, what if I told you that to fix this, you do not need to buy those crazy expensive electric dehumidifiers? In fact, the ultimate weapon against indoor moisture is probably something you can make in the next 5 minutes for the price of a bag of chips. I'm going to show you a glitch in the matrix, a DIY, infinite moisture absorber that manufacturers of expensive home appliances really don't want you to know about. Let's get right into it. Let's be real for a second. Where is all this water even coming from? You didn't spill a glass of water, your roof isn't leaking, but somehow your room feels like a damp swamp. It's basic middle school physics, condensation. You see, during the colder months, the air outside is freezing, but inside, you've got the heating on, so it's nice and warm. When that warm, humid indoor air hits a freezing cold surface, like your window glass or a window frame, it goes into shock. Warm air can hold a lot of invisible moisture, but cold air can't. So when it hits that cold glass, it drops all that invisible water vapor right onto the surface, turning it into actual liquid droplets. This is especially bad if your house has metal window frames or cheaper plastic windows. Metal is the perfect bridge for cold air to sneak into your room, but the puddles are just the beginning. That water drips down into the baseboards, seeps into the wallpaper, and hides under your floorboards. And that is exactly where mold throws a party. Mold isn't just an ugly stain on your wall. It's releasing tiny spores into the air you are breathing right now. It causes allergies, that constant stuffy nose you can't seem to get rid of, and that weird old basement smell that lingers on your favorite clothes. So, how do we usually try to fix this nightmare? I bet you've tried at least one of these methods. Method number 1, opening the windows to air out the room. Great idea, right? Sure, if you're a polar bear. In the middle of winter, opening the window just turns your bedroom into a freezer. You're sitting there in 3 heavy sweaters, shivering, and the absolute worst part? An hour after you close the window, the glass fogs right back up. It's cold, uncomfortable, and completely useless. Method number 2, laying down old towels or newspapers on the windowsill to catch the water. Come on, this looks absolutely terrible. It ruins the entire vibe of your room, and within a day, that towel smells like a wet dog, and you have to constantly wring it out in the sink. It's a full-time job. Method number 3, finally giving up and buying an electric dehumidifier. Sure, they work, but let's talk about the real downsides. First, they cost a fortune to buy. Second, they are incredibly bulky, taking up space you probably don't have in a small room. Third, they buzz and hum like a cheap refrigerator all night long, ruining your sleep. And don't even get me started on the massive electricity bill at the end of the month. Plus, you have to constantly empty that annoying little plastic water tank. We need something tiny, completely silent, incredibly powerful, and absolutely free to run. Sounds like magic, right? Well, it's not. Here is our savior. And no, before you ask, you do not need to adopt a cat for this. The secret ingredient is silica gel cat litter. But wait, this is super important, so listen closely. You cannot use the wooden pellets. You cannot use the clumping clay stuff that turns into mud. You need to go to the store and buy the specific bag that says silica gel. It looks like clear, slightly cloudy little crystals, almost like crushed glass. You have no idea how incredibly powerful this stuff is. In the industrial world, professionals use silica gel to keep multi-million-dollar airplane engines completely dry and to protect highly sensitive electronics from rusting during shipping. And today, we are going to use it to create a pocket-sized black hole for moisture in your bedroom. Here is exactly what you do. Grab a clean, thick sock. Make sure it is a cotton sock. Synthetics like polyester don't let air flow through them as easily, and we need maximum airflow for this to work. Take an empty plastic water bottle, cut off the top to use it as a makeshift funnel, and stretch the opening of the sock right over it. Now, pour about a pound of those clear silica crystals directly into the sock. Once it's nice and full, tie a really tight knot at the top. You can use a zip tie if you want, but a tight knot works perfectly fine. That's it. You are done. In under a minute, you just built a silent, highly effective dehumidifier. Now, why does this work so much better than a towel? Scientifically, it's called hygroscopy. But in plain English, imagine that every single one of those tiny crystals inside the sock is a super sponge filled with millions of microscopic caves. As the damp air floats around your room, those little caves literally suck the moisture right out of the air and lock it deep inside. The water doesn't leak back out. The sock feels completely dry to the touch on the outside, but inside, those crystals are doing some serious heavy lifting. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, it absorbs water, but eventually the sock will get full, right? Do I just throw it away and make a new one? Nope. This is the absolute best part, the reason I call it an infinite dehumidifier. After a few weeks, or maybe a month, depending on how damp your room is, you will notice the sock feels much, much heavier. That means the crystals are fully saturated with water. To fix this, you just take the heavy sock and place it directly on a hot radiator or heater for a day. If it's summer, just throw it out in the baking sun. The heat forces the trapped water to evaporate out of those microscopic caves. Once the sock is completely dry and lightweight again, it is fully recharged and ready for battle. You can repeat this cycle endlessly. One single bag of crystals and a sock can last you for months, even years, without spending another dime. Where should you put this moisture-eating monster? Literally anywhere you have a problem. First, toss it right on your windowsill, pushed flat against the glass. You can finally say goodbye to wiping up those morning puddles. Second, throw one in the bottom of your closet. If you have winter coats or leather jackets hanging there, they are super prone to getting that musty, damp smell. This sock will keep your clothes smelling perfectly fresh and dry all year round. Third, hide it in the dead zones, under the bathroom sink, behind the washing machine, or under your bed. These are spots where air doesn't circulate well, making them an absolute paradise for mold to grow. And here is a massive bonus tip for anyone who owns a car. You know how annoying it is when you get in your car on a freezing winter morning and the inside of the windshield is completely fogged up or covered in frost? You have to sit there for 10 minutes blasting the heater just to see the road. Toss one of these silica socks under the driver's seat or up on the dashboard. It will pull all the moisture out of the car's cabin overnight. Your windows will be crystal clear every single morning. Drivers, seriously, take note of that one. Let's be honest, this solution is so ridiculously simple that it almost sounds like a joke. But it is going to save your wallpaper, save your paint, save you money on your heating bill, and most importantly, protect your lungs from breathing in toxic mold spores. And it costs basically nothing to make. I challenge you to make one of these today. Put it next to your worst, most foggy window and see the magic for yourself. Seriously, come back to this video in a few days and leave a comment telling me how much heavier your sock got. I love reading your results and seeing how well this works for you guys. If this trick saved your windows, hit the like button right now so the YouTube algorithm shares it with someone else who is currently wiping down a wet windowsill with a dirty towel. Subscribe to the channel for more honest, money-saving life hacks that actually work. Keep your windows dry, breathe easy, and I will see you in the next one.